This Four Emperors theory is so crazy that it can only be described as crazy. Mostly because I'm too lazy to consult the thesaurus. Oh no. Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. My name is Liam and apparently I can't say words. But it's okay if I sound a bit unstable in the old mind brain, because today is all about crazy theories. Your crazy theories, to be precise. Because the Grand Fleet is not just about me, it's also about Black Cat, Dumb Gamer, and Peepathy, which is great. I'm sure that urine-based empathy is what we all need. In any case, these three peeps all did an amazing thing, which was press the subscribe button for the Grand Line Review, which by the way, doing so will result in consistent injections of One Piece culture administered directly into your YouTube feed. So if you want to be shouted out as our next subscriber of the day, then please do hit the button and say hi in the comments below if you are a new member of the Grand Fleet. Welcome. But now, crazy theories. Much like Zoro's cursed sword makes him lost, Law's cursed sword makes people around him not listen to his plan. I've comically complained in the past that Law's cursed sword is fairly arbitrary. Its name is Kikoku and it's literally the only known curse blade in the series apart from the Kitetsu set. Some people out there also think that Enma's a cursed blade. It's not. It's just really hungry for some of that sweet, sweet haki juice. But this comment does also allude to the semi-serious theory, which stated that Zoro's horrible sense of direction is actually the curse behind the Sandai Kitetsu, which is a fun idea, but Zoro was getting lost long before this problem child came into his life. Still, until stated otherwise, I am enshrining this into my headcanon. The curse of Law's Kikoku is that nobody anywhere ever will listen to his plan. The reason Garp's four Emperor silhouettes were off was because pre-time skip there were two identically named pirates with the looks of the silhouettes, but the modern Kaido and Big Mom took over their crews. Okay, let's see if I understand this theory. So according to this Grand Fleet member, the original four emperors were these guys. We have a Whitebeard, we have a Redhead, and we have two absolute abominations. And that explains why Big Mom and Kaido don't match these silhouettes, because completely coincidentally, these two also happen to be named Big Mom and Kaido. Maybe it's like a Batman thing. In this world, there must always be a Big Mom and there must always be a Kaido, because they're the emperors that we need, but not the ones that we deserve. Or is it the other way around? Given how corrupt and just generally terrible the One Piece world is, Big Mom and Kaido are almost certainly the twisted, cannibalistic, Odin-killing, child-torturing, sex-having emperors that, yes, we do deserve. Because once again, whether you want to think about it or not, it has almost certainly happened. I know that Big Mom takes on a more sisterly role in this relationship, but it's definitely more of a what are you doing, Step Kaido kind of situation. The reason we haven't met Scopper yet is because he's waiting on Laugh Tale and will act as a guide when we get there. Okay, cool, just one question, which is why? When we get to Laugh Tale, assumedly that would be the point where we don't need a guide, right? Because we're there, we did it, we did the things. Scopper continues to be a very interesting character though. Not so much because of anything he's done, but actually the opposite, simply due to the complete and utter nothing that he's done. He's kind of like Shanks in that way. As a result of not doing much, he gets shrouded in this delectable mystery. We're pretty seriously starting to aim for the endgame now, so it's about time that Scopper showed up. Maybe. I'd say that he's the last relevant member of the Roger Pirates left to explore. Like, he's someone who Oda has had in mind right from the beginning of One Piece, and while there are a ton of other Roger Pirates, I don't really hear people demanding a post-time skip appearance from Doringo, Max Marks, or Moon Isaac Jr., which I love more than anything because it implies that there is a Moon Isaac Sr. Usopp's nose is actually a natural iron sight, which is why he's so good at aiming / shooting long-distance targets. This definitely feels like something I've heard before. I swear that Oda has said something along these lines in an SBS or a Vivia card or some material along those lines, but I cannot for the life of me find where it was. At this point, I'm on the verge of accepting that my mind brain has just kind of made it up and it never happened at all. However, it definitely should have because it makes a lot of sense. Usopp has a natural advantage when it comes to sniping with his biological iron sight, although with the amount of times that his nose has been broken, I imagine that Usopp has had to readjust quite a bit because his shots would end up being ever so slightly off. But speaking of sniper-related stuff, I've been saying for a little while that I'm confident that Sniper Island is a real place. I don't have any real proof or evidence, I just think it would be a classic Oda move to have the Straw Hats end up there. This is so perfect that I will be legitimately upset if it doesn't happen. I once did a video on all of the Usopp lies that have come true in the series, as all of them inevitably do, and this one I think slipped right past me. The idea that there may be a legitimate Sniper Island out there. One that isn't strictly confined to our hearts, that is. That would also be the perfect place to reintroduce Saga King post-time skip, because he is one of, if not the only character that we have not seen in the new world yet. That or Sniper Island will have a real-life Saga King, who Luffy thinks he knows and will thank him for all of his help on any sobby. Meanwhile, the Sniper King's just like, what the crap are you talking about, rubber boy? But I think that settles it. Instead of going to Elbaf or whatever, let's just bring on Sniper Island, yeah. Everybody can have Conqueror's Haki, you just have to have the determination for it. Huh. Well, this is blowing my mind. Because why not? What if Conqueror's Haki is subject to psychological shenaniganry? I mean, people used to believe that kings were chosen by the gods, and then if you'd ask a lowly peasant if that king had a divine right, then they'd just say, well, yeah, of course they did, because otherwise they wouldn't be king. They'd be a peasant plowing the fields, but instead they're a king plowing the queen. We're getting slightly off topic here now, though, because we have a similar effect happening with Conqueror's Haki. It just so happens that everyone born with Conqueror's Haki also has the equivalent willpower to make use of it. So maybe this whole birthright thing is just one big conspiracy. It's an organized effort by Big Haki to keep you down. The narrator is actually Brook, retelling the legendary story of the Straw Hats to the next generation, because he will be the only one left thanks to his DF. Well, that's depressing as crap. Entirely possible though. As it stands, Brook will naturally outlive all of the Straw Hats, and potentially even every living character we know of, are the ancient beasts like the Sea Kings and Zunesha. Here is something somehow even worse though. As it stands, Brook is probably even set to outlive Laboon, and no whale parent should have to witness the parting of their whale child. That's just not cricket. As for Brook being the narrator though, I'm not sure if there's enough skull jokes or yo-ho-hos in the narrator's text. But we do have a competing crazy theory in this area. Luffy's journey has been narrated by the actual character that will eventually find the One Piece. Luffy is that character's Roger. So, wow, okay, just imagine that. Luffy reaches Laugh Tale finally, and it's just Roger's he laughed moment all over again. The Straw Hats realize that they were far too early, and One Piece as a story is completely ruined because it took us almost a quarter of a century to get here, and chances are Oda won't be inclined to draw another 25 years. The whole thing does bring up this really fascinating question though that doesn't get asked anywhere near enough. Who is the narrator of One Piece? Is it someone we already know? Or will they be the last of the characters introduced in the series? Or will they just be left as a sort of disembodied voice? I don't know, but this actually seems like a great topic for a video all of its own, so I'm just gonna leave it here for now. Oda is skipping parts of battles in the raid because he finally trusts an animation team enough to fill the gaps. Oh wow, yeah, a true crazy theory. I mean, to be fair, Oda has always publicly stated that he trusts the Toei team, but then again, his creative and financial interests are directly linked to the success of the anime. So he's hardly going to say anything negative about it, even if he did feel that way, which honestly he probably doesn't. He seems like a fairly easygoing guy. But this is a very common thought. The idea that Oda purposely cut certain scenes or storylines short for the benefit of the anime. And I think it's just a convenient thing that has happened. Even if One Piece did not have an anime currently running, I think that Oda would still be traveling at about the same pace, because there is just too much to do and not enough chapters in a year to do it. We can't spend entire chapters on minor fights, because if every fight got a whole chapter or two dedicated to it, then this whole raiding wouldn't be ending until like 2023. So Oda needs to curate what to focus on. And conveniently, that allows the anime to use what he needs to skip in order to construct some nice Wano filler. Because with a few exceptions, filler is not bad in the Wano anime. In fact, on a couple of occasions, it's actually really good. Vegapunk is a perfectionist. The reason his devil fruit failed is because the dragon would end up being pink instead of blue. This I can absolutely see. It's one of those scenarios where the fanbase has been speculating for like close to a decade on why Momonosuke's fruit is imperfect. Stuff like what kind of horrific curse or lack of ability is this unfortunate boy saddled with. But keeping in mind that Oda is, well, he's Oda, I can definitely see a situation where we meet Vegapunk and he's just like, oh yeah, it wasn't perfect because it was pink. No, I don't like pink. It functions identically, but just think of the aesthetic qualities. Ugh. Sabo killed Kuma to free him from torture, hence the shocked, not sad reactions. Wow. Dark. It definitely explains some of the reactions though. The revolutionaries being mostly in shock because of Kuma's death and just going, Sabo, why? And then I suppose he still could have been captured by the Marines. I just wonder if One Piece would ever really go that dark. Killing is difficult, but not off limits. However, when it does happen, it's almost always an antagonist who does the killing. In fact, right now, I can't think of a single protagonist who has killed someone. Actually, there was that one time that Lucky Roo shot that guy in the head, which was wow. But as for Sabo, To have a hero in this specific shonen manga kill someone, even if it is a mercy killing, I just think it goes a bit too much against Oda's current creative policies. The mysterious 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard Pirates is the Lord of the Coast, trained by BB as anti-Shanks weapon. I don't hate it. I actually think this would make a great fan comic depicting the eventual conflict of Shanks versus Blackbeard. Kind of like Whitebeard at Marineford, Shanks is about to slaughter this pig, but then at the last second, our 10th Titanic captain emerges. Shanks' old and most fearsome of rivals, the Lord of the Coast. Because think of it this way, Blackbeard may have given Shanks his scar, but the Lord of the Coast is the one who took his arm. Then the Lord of the Coast bites off Shanks' other arm, and we bring this story full circle. The story will end in 5 years is actually the time period in One Piece, not real world time. This makes far too much sense. That's why every time Oda has been asked when One Piece will end, the answer is always 5 years. Because in between all of those questions, we've only progressed like a couple of weeks in world. So Oda's just sitting there being all confused and saying, look guys, I mean, the answer is still 5 years. But if your question is, when will this video end? Well, the answer is right now, but never fear because there is another video primed and ready for your attention. Because there's always more to learn, explore, and experience with this wonderful series. So I look forward to seeing you there.